Hello, I am Raman Iyer. Welcome to Mandolin Ballads. Some stories about this beautiful, compact little instrument on what, where, why, and some pieces. And we'll see some more stories, and also not to forget DDLJ. Why did Shah Rukh Khan hold the mandolin more than play the mandolin in the film? And today it's an iconic film, a symbol of romance. We will come back to this story too. So once again, welcome to Mandolin Ballads. How did this Western or Middle Eastern instrument arrive in India? Somewhere around the 1920s, it is Ustad, the late Sajid Hussain, who was a music composer back then, and he composed a lot of films in the silent film era. You would ask me, silent film and music? How could you have music in silent film? Well, those days when the silent films were screened, you would have live musicians in the hall, so they would accompany, so that when you're watching the silent film, so it was a live background score and live songs those days. So Sajid Hussain was composing a lot, though he particularly did not enjoy film music. He was a purist, a classical, he was a veena player actually. And he composed a lot of film music as well. In fact, Naushad used to be his assistant, that's what they say. And he composed very select Hindi films because he was very purist. So being a veena player, being a violin player, and of course the mandolin had come to India because Europeans, right? There were the Portuguese, there were the Dutch were there, the French was there, the Brits were there. So yes, the mandolin was very much around, but Sajid Hussain converted it into the Indian Hindustani form of music. So it kind of suited it, the staccato nature of the instrument. So he changed the tuning. The standard tuning of the mandolin would be, this string would be E, this would be A, this would be D, and this would be G. But instead of E, he made this D, so you get the Indian Sa, Pa, Sa. And he started playing Hindustani ragas and elaborate compositions on the mandolin. So I'll give you a small example of, I'll play a raga called Bahar. So you will know that the mandolin, you've heard it in the Middle Eastern style. You heard Misrillo and Rasputin. You also heard Maggie May. So in the Indian classical, it's suited because of the staccato nature of the notes. So you could get some dynamics out there like this. We already saw in the Hindustani music, we saw the Rag Bahar, right? With Sajid Hussain, the kind of way the mandolin just blended itself into the Hindustani music. Like, you can play any Hindustani raga, like Jog. Now, Carnatic music, the music from the south of India, relies heavily on gamakams. Gamaka is the journey between the notes. So it is not just sa, re, ga, ma, pa. It is how you travel from sa to re to ga. The space between the notes, what you call the slides if you have to play it on an instrument. The acoustic mandolin does not have sustain, right? So in the Carnatic music space, you needed to, the shelf life of a note has to be long. To stretch the journey, it has to go. Whereas here, it's not one note. If I have to give that sustain, I'll have to play multiple. So it is not sa, because the sa only resonates this much. I have to sa, 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 sa. You saw? So if playing a Carnatic piece, though it may sound nice, but it is not doing justice to the nuances which Carnatic music requires. So if I have to play a raga, Hamsadwani, a very wonderful composition by Muthuswami Dikshidhar called as Vatapi Ganapathim, it would be like this. On the acoustic mandolin, You see, I will not be able to do justice by sliding. So actually they have to slide. So you have to play a lot on a single string. I have to change strings. If you're able to see, if you're able to observe, I'm switching strings, whereas Carnatic music requires you to stay on a single string so that you can slide. So they would play this piece on this string. See, I'm already getting stuck. The notes are getting lost, so I switch here. I have to switch to the string below. So it was not typically conducive to play Carnatic music in all its essence. Of course, you can take a piece here and there and try to do just like I did, but it is not real Carnatic music. Now, of course, mandolin U. Srinivas, the legend, we will come to him, but before him, it actually started off with the guitar. It started off with the guitar, dear friends. So, mid-70s, early 80s, there was a young boy in Chennai who was a Carnatic mridangam player. Okay, his traditional family, his parents got him into Carnatic music like most of Indian families. Go learn music, go learn dance. So he learned Carnatic music and he learned the mridangam, but he also picked up the guitar from his friends, and he was a huge, huge fan of rock music at the time. You know, Beatles, CCR, that kind of stuff, Police, who were there at that time. And he was playing the electric guitar in underground Chennai rock scene, which his parents found out, and they were very unhappy. They told him, you cannot be playing this instrument. You cannot be playing this Western music. You are a Carnatic musician. You have to be on stage in respectable stages and playing the mridangam and Carnatic music. What are you doing with this guitar and Western instruments? And his father almost threw his guitar out, electric guitar, which he had saved some money here and there. He said, I'm going to throw this rubbish electric guitar instrument. Or he says, father, no, please. Okay, will you let me keep the guitar if I play Indian music on it? His father says, how can you play Carnatic music in this guitar? It is all noise, this distortion and coming. You can't play our, you know how it is, right? So he says, you can't play our kind of music on this. This is a noisy instrument. Just throw it. He says, no, please give me a chance. So this youngster, 74, around that time, he changed the tuning of the guitar, again gave it the open strings, and started playing the electric guitar, Carnatic music on the electric guitar, and this created a rage. Nobody had seen an electric guitar, and he started giving concerts because he already had Carnatic music knowledge. Remember, he was already played the mridangam, so he adapted his Carnatic sense of rhythm, and he took all the ragas and he played elaborate compositions, Tyagaraja compositions, Purandaradasa composition, Muthuswami Dikshitar, everything, and he started giving concerts. Dear friends, this person is Mr. Sukumar Prasad. Sukumar Prasad, exponent, he released an album, he became a rage. This electric guitar, first one to play Carnatic music, all of this. He even toured Australia, I think he even toured America. He was very famous. Then sometime in the mid-80s, he just disappeared. He disappeared. Nobody knows where he is, who his family are, where are they now. So he created Carnatic music, the possibility of Carnatic music to be played on an electric string instrument. And this, meanwhile, while this was happening, while he was on stage creating waves in Chennai today, Madras, back then, a young prodigy, an 8-9-year-old boy, had already started playing the acoustic mandolin. His name was U. Srinivas. U. Srinivas' father was an instrument maker. He used to make musical instruments, used to have a little shop that they dealt with. And for some reason, he must have bought a mandolin home, and this young kid who was 4 or 5 years old picked it up and started playing. And his father noticed that this boy is trying to emulate the Carnatic pieces that he was hearing on the acoustic mandolin, and he felt, no, this is not giving him full justice, full range. And when they saw a Sukumar Prasad concert, his father got an idea. Let me take the strings of the acoustic mandolin, let me build it in an F-shaped electric guitar body, use an electric guitar's pickup. So actually, U. Srinivas' father built an entirely new instrument. It need not have been called the mandolin. It could have been called the Srinivasa Veena or anything. It could have been a totally new instrument altogether, because the tuning is completely different. The standard mandolin, which you can see in my hand, has 8 strings, 4 strings, 4 notes to 8 strings. So what he did was he put 5 strings and tuned it to sa pa sa pa sa. So it's like pa sa pa sa pa, like that, the tuning. So a lot of open strings. So this is a completely new instrument, but they decided to call it mandolin, and the name, the legendary Mandolin Srinivas, stuck. How did this happen? Why did this particular instrument become an icon of romance? DDLJ has a very solid reference. Back in 1787, dear friends, in Italy, there's an opera. So the opera was called Don Giovanni, Don Juan. So Don Juan was a Casanova and who would serenade women. And the music score for this was by none other than Mozart. So the actor who played the role of Don Juan is Luigi Bassi. So Luigi Bassi, in the drama, in the opera, he would hold a mandolin and he would keep serenading different women with the mandolin. He would hold it and he would just spread, and he would be at the street corners, and instead of giving roses and things like that, he would be waiting, and the moment a woman comes, he would hold the mandolin and say, that is how he would serenade women. And the poster for the opera, The Life of Don Juan, had Luigi Bassi holding the mandolin. He would hold the mandolin, and that was the poster, a promotional poster composed, and the music, of course, was by Mozart. And this became an iconic image. So from the stage of what Vivaldi had set for classical music, it now became an image, like an obscure instrument, right, of romance in the hands of a nobleman. So educated, the what you call in advertising terms as SECA audience, an educated noble person holding this instrument, became an image of romance. And that is how he would serenade women. And that image, which had become popular in Italy, was used as a reference. So which is why the mandolin was used in DDLJ as an extension of that idea, to become an iconic image of good young educated boys romance, a symbol. So this idea came definitely from the 1787 opera called Don Juan, dear friends. So quickly, this is a journey of the mandolin beyond DDLJ. I hope you enjoyed this little pieces. I made a lot of mistakes, I'm sorry, but I hope you get the idea. The names of the pieces you can just listen to, and I would like to thank Art Frames and the entire team, Map India, for putting together this festival.
A very warm welcome to Artist Life Sound Frames Festival organized by MAP. I am Nitin and this is Ananthan. We are here to play an instrument called the handpan. Talking about the handpan, it originated from Switzerland. A couple made this beauty. It is an amalgam of the instrument called the steel pan from the Caribbeans and the Indian ghatam. It took shape in 2002. The first model was created by a company called Panart, and this is another version of the hang drum, the original one, called the handpan. So hope you guys enjoy what we do.